The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessitate reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors. Well, right off the bat, it's like at least you know we're running a very professional stream here. So but we're good. Yeah, there we go. And warning, the following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that may be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and 2 parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming, unlike my regular videos where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited pre-recorded videos instead. Viewer discretion is advised. There we are. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday live stream. I have to apologize for missing last Wednesday's stream because I was just too busy, and I was working on artwork that I couldn't show on stream anyway. So, and I really wanted to get all that done. So, but that's the thing with doing private commissions and trying to get everything out. You know, there are just some times where, you know, we just have to make these priorities, you know. But we're here today on this another dreary, snowy, rainy, more rainy than snowy, thank goodness, Wednesday. So welcome. And, you know, let's have some fun today. So so let's see who's in the comments in the chat today. So hello. So it's like Grant is here. Hello. And here is, probably a spammer. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? You know, so let's, you know, and here is, and here is, of course, Joe is here. Hello. Yes, technically, as always, look, it's like what I said. It's like karaoke. Nobody goes to karaoke to hear you belt out a perfect edition of Whitney Houston. So it's the same thing with live streaming. So there you go. So let's see. And of course, here is Mike Jimmy. Hello, Mike Jimmy. And yes, and speaking of Mike Jimmy, he has his congratulations on launching his trade collection of Life on Korra in both a paperback and a hardcover edition. All the links are in the show notes below. I have a whole bunch of really cool I'm not having words today. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it's, you know, it's like I said, it's dreary, it's overcast, you know. So yeah, so all the links to all these cool campaigns that are running right now are in the show notes below, including Mike Jimmy's Life on Korra, who is very close, last I checked, to not fulfilling, oh my God, my words, to funding. Jesus. Hello, Jay Solano. Hello. So hello and goodbye. I don't know why you say hello. I say goodbye. Hello. And of course, here is the ever masterful John Celestri. And as always, Nita is in the background watching every nerd that comes in here, keeping an eye on everybody to make sure they don't get past the velvet rope. You know, so there you go. Okay, so yes, and I see you, the 5 people next to my giant eyeball on the screen. You know, so yes, it's like I said, it's like, I don't know, today I'm just a little all over the place. I'm finding a little bit difficult to kind of catch my wind here, but at least it's probably because I'm just distracted by everything, and I was just like cleaning. Yeah, it's like, oh, God forbid, right? At least let's give it a half hour first. Thank you for the vote of confidence, Nita. Yeah. So I guess before I get started babbling, so let me introduce myself. So, oh my goodness. So hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992 because
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go. I got nothing else.
I swear to God, sometimes I really do feel like that. It's like really. And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which will be launching, the new volume will be launching this Friday for Tall Tales the Peacekeepers, the collected trade paperback of this one-shot miniseries. So keep an eye out for that. We are launching Friday, so I'm just really excited to just finally get this campaign up and going. Really. So, and I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which also launches late spring in 2023. So yes, we're already up to issue 6 on this full color fantasy series. So again, links are in the show notes below. Although for Eagle Raven, just go straight to the main page because Peacekeepers comes first. But in the meantime, speaking of launching on Friday, I am also co-host with Nita Lanning on the Rage Into the Vlogs show every Monday and Friday on the Indie Comics Network. And yes, we will be launching Peacekeepers live this coming Friday on the show. So make sure you join us at 11 a.m. Eastern. Also, this Saturday, before I forget, because God forbid we already are at the end of the month, House of Bob, the latest episode of this adults only night stream. It's a live stream, night stream, live draw. It's all of those things. Why not everything? Yes, and like I said, it's an adults only live stream that me and Nita have where we have conversations and draw artwork that are not appropriate for the day crowd. So this Saturday, we are going to have special guest Max DeVille, where we will be talking about his comic Mary Machine Gun and just the whole topic of these good girl, bad girl comics that are popular on Kickstarter. And we're just going to talk about what is it with the never ending popularity of those types of books, since the 90s. So join us at 8 p.m. Eastern this coming Saturday. Let's have some fun there as well. And before I forget, speaking of other crowdfunders, remember that the Oswald Chronicles by J.D. Calderon, who also wrote Tall Tales, by the way, has his main series, the Oswald Chronicles, currently funding on Kickstarter right now. Again, links are in the show notes below. This is for the short story On the Wings of Deirdre, which is issues 1, 2, and 3 in one campaign. So you can get all 3 issues in one shot and not miss out a thing and get this complete Oswald story. So check it out in the show notes below. So there you have it. I think I kind of remembered everything. And so in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all of my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lager, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. But if you are watching me from regions beyond, if you're watching me from Facebook, if you're watching me from Twitter, come on over to YouTube. It's a lot more fun here. Join the sexy people in the chat. And if you are watching me from Twitch, welcome and thank you for watching me on Twitch. I'm still getting used to the fact that that shows delete after a week. So this might be the first time you're catching me. So thank you so much if you are. Especially, I want to thank Visenia for giving me a shout out the other day on her live stream when she was showing off all the copies of Eagle Raven that she had gotten from my previous Kickstarter. Which, speaking of which, everybody should be receiving their books as we speak. I know a bunch of you received your books already from the issue 5 campaign. And yeah, and there's a couple of more. I actually, found a couple of orders, packages here that I forgot to send out. So I'm sending those out too. So if you haven't received it yet, it might be one of yours. So I don't know what the mix up was with that, but they are going out tomorrow. So everybody is pretty much accounted for, except for the 5 people who have yet to fill out their surveys. So if you are one of the 5 people who haven't filled out your survey for Eagle Raven issue 5, make sure you log into Kickstarter and do that so that I can send out your packages. I know you want your books. You paid for your books, and I want you to have your books. So, make sure you fill out your surveys to get them. So yeah, so that's, I think that there you go. It's like, yes, so it's less. Okay, so Max DeVille is less than $500 away from his first 5-figure campaign. So yeah, so his campaign is running right now, although I don't have a link to his in the show notes. But if you're watching us from the Indie Comics Network, I think there is a link to his campaign from there. So either way, if you want to find Max DeVille's Merry Machine Gun, just head on over to Kickstarter, do a search. You can't miss it. So hey Charles, hey, welcome back. There we go. And also, yes. And also I said that last week I had skipped an episode. I think it was the week before. I don't know. Like I said, I'm all over the place, so I'm not sure whether I'm here or there. So let's see. Oh, and Joe got his copy of Eagle Raven issue 5. Oh, thank you for the review. I did see the video for the last review that you did. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Oh, there is a link to Merry Machine Gun in the chat. So if you want to go help Max DeVille out, reach a Kickstarter milestone, the link is in the chat, along with a whole bunch of other campaigns as well. Nita is just busy hitting those links, hitting those links right there. So yeah, so that's what's been going on? Like I said, it's like I don't remember what happened last week. So I don't remember if I did a show or if I skipped it. I don't remember which one. But let's see. When we last left me, I was in a half crippled state. but let's not say it too loud. My leg actually feels a lot better today. So I'm about like 95% back to normal, which I'm really, really happy for, because this sucked. This absolutely sucked. For those who, yes, I was inking everything. I was doing everything in a half crippled state since December 21st. I mean, that's how long this has taken for this to clear up. And even, like I said, even then it's not completely cleared up, but at least I can officially say I'm at 95%. Yes, exactly. And that 5% seems to be more obnoxious and annoying than when I was at 0. So it's like, it really, yeah, really. So it's like for those of you who are just tuning in and don't know the story, back in December, I had pulled my back in a way that it affected my leg. And even though my back got better, my leg didn't. Yeah, better with quotes, because at this moment, this is how, this is how it is. My leg has been like, I think I ended up going to the doctor, and she said, it's like, yeah, it seems like you probably tore a muscle, and you just have to take it easy and just wait for it to heal on its own. Luckily, like everything else about going to the doctor was okay. So it's not like, anything else what was going on. Although I do have to admit, because hey, might as well put everything out there, right? I do have to admit that there was a little concern about my blood pressure, but they kind of figured it was related to the pain, but they told me to lay off the salt anyway and kind of like try to mitigate that. And also about this last Friday, I had gotten a call back from my doctor saying that there was also some slight unusual activity with my gallbladder, although she also thinks this might be related to the pain. So I have to go back to the doctor in 3 months to make sure that that was kind of like a fluke in the testing and not that there's something's really going on. So yeah, but considering how everything else with the tests were fine, because usually she said something that usually when there's a gallbladder issue, the liver is involved, but that wasn't the case in my tests. So they just think it's that was it felt like, I swear to God, it felt like I mean, that's literally, it was awful. It was awful. It's like, it was, yes, I was walking around like a pimp, but without the money. So it's like, and hello, Efrain, hello. And so yeah, so in 3 months I have to go back just to make sure that that test result with my gallbladder was just a fluke. Because my sister was saying that taking a little too much Tylenol might also be a culprit too for that. So I have to like kind of chill for the next 3 months. Do the usual suspects? It's like I have to eat less fat, I have to work out more, and more fiber in the diet. Because not only do I have to get the salt down, I have to make my gallbladder happy too. So in the meantime, so it's like, oh, it's like Jesus Christ. It's like. No, I look, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's nothing going on. Although Nita was regaling the horror stories of her having to have her gallbladder removed. And it's like, oh, speaking of triggered. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that. So let's try to mitigate that in the meantime. So hopefully in 3 months, it'll be nothing. So that's where I'm at right now. But in spite of everything, oh, hello. Yes, hello. Yes, I remember you from Visenia's chat. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay that long when I was chatting that the other day on Twitch with you guys. But thank you so much for subscribing and coming over. Thank you so much. I hope you like what you see when I finally start working on something. Because what I like to do is like for the first half hour, I just like to, like just to babble a bit and kind of like try to get warmed up or something, mentally. And then it's like we start going into the actual work. So speaking of the actual work, so today what I have planned, as you can see on the screen, today we are going to be working in Photoshop. I know that I spoke a bit about wanting to learn Clip Studio Paint and trying to like get into that and getting over the hump of the learning curve of that, but not today. It's just it's like, I don't know, it's like I want to learn this program, but at the same time it's like it's kind of hard to make it a priority when it's like when I already have this workflow in Photoshop set up. So I really do have to make an effort to do that because, I just see like way too much cool stuff being done in Clip Studio Paint. Oh, the parrot is literally right over here. I cannot turn my camera, but the cage is literally right here. So here's my drawing table and the cage is right there. So he's going to do what parrots do in the meantime, right? Oh yeah, so Affinity Design, yeah, that is I think like a free program that also people have been using as well. But like I said, Clip Studio has just been something that, like I said, I've been seeing people do a lot of cool stuff in it. Like I said, like Visenia works a lot in Clip Studio, and she's been doing stuff on there. Going, oh, I need to do that. I need to learn how to do that. And then it's like I've been watching videos by White Manga. That's WHYTE, I think. I don't remember if it's, well, he's the artist of Apple Black from Saturday AM. So he's an American mangaka that does videos as well. So I've been watching him and what he does. Actually, speaking of Apple Black, I don't know if I showed this the last time, but I did get the manga for it that he does. And yeah, and it's like I'm just really fascinated in trying to figure out like how to imitate this manga format and this manga aesthetic in Clip Studio Paint, because that's the program that he works in. So yeah, so that's Apple Black. So that's the book that he does. And so yeah, so eventually I would like to get started with that, but like I said, not today, not now, because I already have my workflow set up, and especially for the live stream, I really don't want to sit here trying to like poke and prod at a program I'm not familiar with. What I probably want to do is I want to really get like deep dive tutorials, and then kind of get a sense, like a functioning sense as to how Clip Studio Paint works, so that I'm not completely fumbling when I bring it, when I bring it to a live stream. Oh, hey, Glenn. Hey, Glenn, wash his hands. Okay. Well, it's good because I washed my hands before I started streaming too. So it's like, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, so that's kind of what my plan is, kind of like get kind of a feel for it, and then we could start working together with it, on screen. Oh, oh, I see the emoji didn't show up. That's why it literally just says wash hands. So yeah, so okay, so you washed your hands and you're clapping. That's very good. Either one is very good to do. But hello, Glenn. So yeah, so that's kind of like, yeah, so okay, so let me set up the stage here for what I have in this lower screen right here. So this is this is a panel, this is a page from another Tall Tales project. I figure since we have Peacekeepers, coming up on Friday, that I still keep it, I keep the stream still Tall Tales related, so it's like it's all, it fits the theme. So today we're going to be working on this full page for the next Tall Tales project, which is going to be a reprint of, I mean, I don't even have a copy of it anymore, but it is it was a black and white one shot that we did back in the day. I think it was around like 2007, maybe, that this issue was originally done. And we did do a limited run of it on Kickstarter about maybe 3 years ago. And now what we're doing is we're going to be coloring it for a new release. What was funny was that when this book was originally done, it originally was for us to print it in color. But the thing is, though, is like at the time, I don't remember why we made that decision, because this was way before POD. So it's like I'm not sure why we made that decision, and but in the end we ended up printing it in black and white anyway. So so now that POD is, makes it very easy to publish in color, we are going to finally do this issue in color the way that it was originally meant, but it didn't end up that way. And I had to make a couple of changes to it, which is probably for the best, because the way I was coloring back in 2007 was not was not good. So maybe it was a good thing that I didn't color this back then. Um, because it's like I think that my coloring style is much better now. I have a better sense of kind of like how colors go together and how they work. I just have a better sense of it. So I'm just hoping that that it, it'll just come out exactly the way it meant I mean it to be. But here's the thing though, as if the thing about it. So because this book was ended up originally printed in black and white, I ended up inking it differently than if I had just left it in full color, which also was kind of a good thing because I was inking it for color back then, which was very, very sparse, very just pretty much just outlines. And once we made the decision to just go ahead in black and white, I actually went in and re-inked it in order for it to work properly in black and white. And and the thing is though, it's not as heavily inked as my if you look at like the original copies of Tall Tales, especially volume 1. This story is not as heavily inked, but when I started looking over the pages, really thinking about, okay, how am I going to prepare these pages for inking, I really came across an issue where it's like, okay, this might be a little bit more complicated than well, not complicated, but just a little bit more challenging than just coloring it in and calling it a day. Because the show. My show. The show's runs until 6. So if you're listening to me on like on a bus or something, you'll be good. We'll be running for a while. Or if you want to wait till you get home, you'll probably get home before I finish. So yeah. So the show runs until 4 to 6 because I am not like those complete marathon runners on Twitch who can go for 4 to 8 hours on a stream. So I just can't do this because I'm old. So right? So yeah, so we're just hitting the half-hour mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a really quick bump and and then switch over to my Cintiq, which I'm going to move everything over and I can get to showing you what I'm talking about on the screen. So let me do that. And so we'll be right back. And we definitely, all of us will be right back and we'll get to coloring. So hold on, let me just find my stuff. Here it is. Be right back. Did I ever tell everybody how much I love my trailer? It's like, it's like I really love the way that oh, I see what's going on. Okay. So I'm it's like I'm very proud of it. Like the secret to a properly done trailer, it seems, is to hit the beats on the music. So I was very happy to have figured that out. So hold on, let me just do something really quick here. Let's see. Okay, because all right. It's like, yeah, I gotta figure this out. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I gotta figure I gotta figure this out. So all right, never mind, never mind. Just everybody ignore the spammy comments until I can clean that out. So it's like, look, just we'll just move on from here. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I'm about to switch over, but before I forget, the first 40 people who pledge to the physical level of Tall Tales the Peacekeepers, you will have a mystery package put into your order. This is a mystery bag of stuff that I put together. It has stickers, postcards, art prints, yeah, stickers, prints, trading cards. That was the word I was trying to remember. And some of them actually have metal bookmarks and keychains in them. So for the first 40 people who pledge to a physical level for the Peacekeepers, you will have this automatically put into your package so that so it's just a little fun thing to do. So yeah, so make sure that you hit the link in the show notes below. If you haven't signed up yet, hit the notification bell so you get notified the second the campaign goes live. So if you want to get one of these mystery packs, you won't miss out because you'll be notified when the campaign goes live. So okay, so let me just go into here and switch myself over. Oh, I forgot to. Okay, so this is my hot mess of a desk. So there we go. Hold on. Let me fix that. Let me fix that. Oh, there we go. Much better. Much better. Yes. There we go. So yeah. So, okay, so this is the piece. Like I said, I'm working in Photoshop. This is the piece that I'm working on. It's the first page of that story. And yeah, so what we're going to do is I am going to put on my nice little glove right here. So before I guess anybody asks, if you are curious, because usually when working on a Cintiq, you want to use a glove to not so you're not getting all your grease and stuff all over the screen. But what I'm using here, this is a compression glove specifically for arthritis. And what I found, it's very nice, actually. It's very nice to use. And also like things like carpal tunnel and stuff I'm really paranoid about. So I figured that this is kind of like a good way of kind of protecting everything without I don't know, and still protect the screen as well. So I mean, it's a little awkward to work in because all the fingers are covered like this, but I just think it's kind of worth it. So just something to just something to just something different for this. So okay, so let's see. So yeah, so this is the first page of the piece, and I just want to show you how I have this set up. So now the thing is, though, is like I already have this flatted. I've already the story is done. All the artwork's done, of course, because we've printed it back in 2007. But we had everything flatted already. So the coloring itself is not going to be that big of a deal. So this is what it looks like with the flat colors. Now, mind you, this is not this is not color accurate at all. All it is that the colors are just separated out so that I can go in and I can drop in the colors that I actually need to put in. So like in this case, you know, this is a panda. So I'm going to, if I go to my flats, I can just do that and change the color so that his face is the exact color that I need it to be, which when I show you how I shade this in, I'm going to show you why that's important, to especially have at this point an accurate color for his face, because for the background and for his clothing, I can kind of like play around with the same with my shading and not worry about it. But I will show you exactly what I do with that. So what I do, so with these flats, like I said, they're not color accurate. That comes later. It's just that flatting is just something that I find incredibly tedious. So I actually have it outsourced instead of doing it myself. It's a lot faster. It's worth the money that I pay to do this because, yeah, like I said, it's incredibly tedious. I can shade pages for hours, you know, for days and hours and whatnot, but I cannot stand flatting. You know, it's like flatting is something that I only do if I have to. If I cannot send it out for some reason, then I'll flat it myself. But if I can help it, I outsource it. But so what I do is so these are the flats that I get from my flatter. And then what I do is I put a mask on it, so that it's just this neutral green color, so that when I start shading, I'm not distracted by the colors underneath. It's like it doesn't. I've tried shading with the colors, and it's like it I don't know. It confuses me too much. So I just work better working on this green tone. I don't know. It just gives me a little bit more control than if I just did it with the color. So let me just enlarge this a little bit more so you guys can see it. Right. Um, so yeah, so what I do, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my shadows layer that you see here. So what I'm doing with these pages is that I'm going to be putting in the shading. So with the flats already done, all I have to do is just shade and put highlights in. And the way I do it is I don't know. I'm glad I learned it. I learned it this way because the way I was doing it before was really time consuming and tedious that I couldn't do the amount of work that I'm doing now had I have not learned this particular way of doing it. So first I put the mask on. And then what I'm going to do is I have this lavender color okay, hold on, it didn't show up on the screen. Let me just bring it here. So there's this lavender color that it's literally I use for shading. And I'm sure some of you are asking, how do you use lavender for shading? You know, and I'm going to show you how you use this lavender. Now, here's the thing though. This was a color that I came to after watching another artist who goes by the name of Oh Hey DJ on Twitter. And I think also he goes by that on Instagram too. It's OH at it's OH and then HEY DJ, literally D and then J. And he was using, and I noticed that he was using this purple color to do skin tone shading. And I thought it worked so well that I tried to imitate it. And I had to do a lot of testing to get this color because depending on the shade that you use, when you set it to your I guess to I forgot what these are called, but it was like a multiply setting. It affects how the color underneath changes. So I did a lot of tests. I literally did test and plastered my office with samples, and I was just staring at them, I was like, okay, which one works the best until I came to this color. So I'm going to show you how. So I use this color. And so what I'm going to do, I take my lasso tool, right? And I'm just going to start just tracing out where I want these shadows to go. So in this case, like I'm going to put that shading in the eyes. So, as you can see, it's just this purple on green, right? So I'm going to continue doing that just to, let's see. So, and yeah, and it looks a little weird because it's like, again, it's like, how does that purple, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace out some of the main shapes here that I want to shade in. And then I'm going to change the layer. Like I said, I forgot. I just saw the name of what it is. Those layer things are that change. It'll make sense in a minute. And I completely forgot what they're called. So I am going to just put in this. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so this is pretty much how I shade. I put out, it's like I do these shapes. And yeah, and it's like this is so much this is so much faster and easier than what I used to do. Because before I was using this really complicated like layer by layer thing, and if I wanted to change colors, I had to change all the layers associated with it manually, and it was just like, so what I did is when I decided that I was going to start coloring Ego Raven issue 1, which is my other book, before I put it on Kickstarter, I really wanted to learn how to color it properly. And this was a technique that it's like, I mean, it just seemed so simple. I didn't think it would work. And now I swear by it. So, okay. So here I'm going to I'm just going to put in some more of, oh no, that's wrong. I'm going to put in more of this shading. And then, like I said, I'm going to show you, because especially here, I want to show what it is I want to, okay, so, okay. So here is the purple, right? So here's this lavender, and it's like, you're like, okay, well, how is this supposed to represent shading? So I go back to my layer, right? My shadows layer that I put this initial pink on. And then I'm going to go where it says normal here. Like I said, I don't remember what these are called specifically. And then I'm going to do multiply. And as you can see, now the purple has kind of like mixed in with the green so that it's shading the green. So look what happens when I remove the mask. So now it affects, so it's like, so depending on what color I put underneath, now the shading, it affects, like if I were to change, let's see, let's see, let's see if I made this like blue, right? If I decide it's like, okay, I want to change the color of his clothing. So, and of course, so if I change it to blue, the shading remains the same. So no matter what color I use, I don't have to change the shading. However, there's a caveat to that. So I'm going to switch it back. Right. So here's the thing. So whatever color you decide to use for your shading and do like this multiply effect on it. it's going to change how it, I guess it like tones the color underneath. Like, so if I were to use yellow instead, right? It's like you'd still get a yellow tint, like it, but you see how it's like this, it looks different on the white as it does on this brown as it does on this gray. And that's also the reason why that, and depending on what kind of effect you want to get. So that's why I use this purple, because especially on my other book, where there's a lot more humans, this purple works really, really well on flesh tones, and it's like, and yeah, it's like no matter what skin tone you use, whether it's a darker skin tone or a lighter skin tone, this pinkish color tends to work really well with it. So that's why I'm using it. But here's again, it's like, here's the caveat though. It looks a little too pink on a panda, so, as you can see, it's like, the nose looks good, but it's just, I just find it just it's just too white on him. So what I have to do is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue shading the rest of the piece. And then what I have to do is I have to go back into the areas that I think needs a little bit more, just not pink. It's like I said, it's a little too pink. And I'm going to have to decide, like, okay, okay, so, if I, let's say, let's take, this area here, let's take that area. It's like, what, maybe do I want him to have kind of like a bluish tone? Obviously that's too blue. Or it's like something more of maybe like a gray would work better, and it's like, and what I like is that by doing this way, I'm able to lasso off just the area that I want and then just change the color. Like I said, without having to go too manual on it, if that makes any sense, if I'm making any sense whatsoever. And 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 it's like, like here, like I can already see that using this gray is giving me kind of more the effect that I want rather than the purple. But like I said, because of I'm working this way, I can I can just like kind of play around with it a lot easier. But what I like to do first before I get into that kind of fussiness, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to go back to my mask. And what I like about using this green with the purple is that it gives me a better idea as to how the entirety of the piece is going to look shaded. So I know that whether my shadows look correct or not. Now here's the thing too. It's like I'm not a very accurate artist. It's like I kind of like go more by aesthetic than by the whole like, oh well, the sun is here, so the shadows would be here, and this, that, and the other thing, and if you're a light source, and that, this, that, and the other thing. I don't really work that way. I mean, so it's like this way. So this is how I kind of like keep my shading kind of looking correct without being too crazy. So so it just makes it easier for me. So what I'm going to do is like, and I just realized it's like I didn't turn my music on. So let me do that. Okay, so we're gonna put in, today we are using, we're going back to people um playlist on sound. So we're gonna try that one. So so yeah, no, it's like, yeah, that's Oh, it's like thank you, thank you. Yeah, I kind of I like showing people how I do my things. How I do what I do here. I mean, because it's like I couldn't learn without other people sharing it. So so I want to like pass that along. It's like this information didn't come like straight from the head, full grown from the forehead of Zeus type of thing. Yeah. So this is Gabriel, the panda warrior bard from Tall Tales, the main series. And yeah, and he's going to have his own one shot that we will be putting out somewhere near the more towards the end of the year, this year. But in the meantime, I have to color it. So this is kind of like where it starts. So I'm going to go ahead and I am just going to start just putting in my shadows, and this is also the thing that I have to really think about when I continue working on this piece. Like right now, it's not that big of a deal because the shapes here are very very simple. The inking is just very simple. So I know that like for these I don't have to worry too much about it. And also the thing is too, what I like about shading like this is that it's on one hand it's a little easy to get a little nitpicky with it. You see how it looks nice with the gray, right? But let me put it back to my pink because I want a stronger so as you can see, like you get like a stronger shade with it. But here's the thing. Here's my concern. You see these little this cross hatching in the back and here and especially here, right? So this is my thing, right? So now when I went back in and inked this, right? So I inked it for black and white. So I went in and put in kind of like this hatching in it to make up for the fact that it was just going to be just pure black and white. There wasn't going to be any color in it or anything. I wasn't even using Zip-A-Tone. It's just, I did everything by hand, right? But now that I'm going to color it, it's a little bit of a different animal. So as you can see, especially here, this hatching really doesn't work with the shading that actually is the shading that's going there with the coloring. So what I have to do, and I'll show you here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my inks layer and I'm just going to circle those those lines and I'm going to delete them. Right? So now it looks better. It's like it looks cleaner when I put the, it's like if I were to drop the mask, say I was just going to use this this coloring, it doesn't like that hatching doesn't interfere with the shading. So that's probably, now here's the thing. So, okay, so I'm going to do that over here. So I'm just going to, okay, so, so yeah, so already I can see that looks a lot better, right? Now, the thing is though, my dilemma my dilemma is, how much do I erase? Like, how much do I go in and it's like, and clean up my line work? Should I go in and clean up a lot of the line work? Because if I go here, right, it's like I have this hatching in the background, but the thing is, though, I don't think it really affects here. I don't think it really affects the shading too much. Like, let's put this in here. Like, even if I were just to go in and right, wrong wrong layer. So even if I were just to go in, right, it's like, I think here I'll be better off leaving that alone, as opposed to like having to go in and erase everything. Because here's, because it's like, what I don't want to do is feel like I'm redoing pages. The whole thing about this book is that all I have to do is color it, letter it, put it together, and then we're done. So so I don't want to spend more time than I need to, because I'm being kind of nitpicky with it. So I think that in this particular area, I'm just going to leave the cross hatching alone. So in this case, yeah, it's because also the thing is too, is that I don't want to end up feeling like I'm doing every single leaf individually. I just want to get a sense of the shapes. Because again, I don't want to add more work onto my plate than I need to. Let's see. Okay. And that was the thing too, when I started to learn how to color properly, is taking into consideration just how detailed I really needed to be or not needed to be. And kind of like, so okay, so already you're seeing how this is beginning to build up here. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is, yeah, like even with these little squiggles that I have in the bushes right here, I'm not going to clean that up. Like this, all this here, I'm just going to leave that as is, because it's just literal background noise, background squiggles, and it doesn't really feel like it's interfering with anything. So I'm just going to save myself the time and not worry about it. However, the like, if we're talking about like here, so like here, I think would probably be a good place to erase these lines. It's like I think that when it comes to the character itself, I probably should like let me take these out as well. Okay. Yeah, I mean it really makes a difference. I think so. I think it makes more of a difference on the character than it does on the background. So because even here, like if I were to put in the shading here, like let me show you how it would work here. Okay, so so it's like, yeah, it's like you can kind of see here how that hatching is interfering. Um so yeah, so that's probably what I'm going to have to do for the rest of the pages, is that whatever hatching is on the characters itself, I have to get rid of. Like I'm just doing this like just because what I yeah, I'm just just doing enough here, kind of. Yeah, what's funny is that for the longest time, I was seeing people use the lasso tool to do this. Just to do shading and coloring in general. And I don't know, for some reason, it's like I was finding it so difficult to use the lasso tool until I don't know, and until it's like I got a Cintiq, and I don't know, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I get it. Because I guess before I was trying to do it with a mouse, and I wasn't really getting the effect, but because of course, because it's like you really do need. I mean, I'm sure. You could learn to do it with a mouse too. I mean, for a little while, I was coloring with a mouse. Um, because what it was that I had this was like a long time ago when I was working retail, and I had a portable, just a little portable tablet, like the one of the original like graphite, the Wacom Graphier, and I would take it to work with me. And then it's like on my breaks, I would go to one of the computers, because we had Photoshop and whatnot, and I would just plug in the Graphier, and I would color at work. But before I got the Graphier, I just learned to color with a mouse, because that was the only other way I could color at work until I got that thing. So yeah, so as you can see, it's a lot cleaner. So definitely that's what I'm gonna have to do. Probably around here. Let's try this over here. Let's go back to our shadows. And and because again, I don't, it's like I have to just decide, okay, it's like, does it matter, does it not matter? So let me pretty much see here. So I think, okay, so here I'm thinking I can leave that. I don't need to clean up everything, but this, yeah, I'm going to clean that up. But anything that looks like that, here too, it's like I don't really feel a need, that it's like, oh, yeah, that hatching has to go. So let me just, I think for consistency's sake, I'm going to get rid of this too. Um, let me see. So yeah, because here I'm going to leave that too. Um, so yeah, but so you see how that's working out there. That it's like, yeah, so it's like, no matter what color I have under there, pretty much, if I decide to change anything, um, I can. Let's see. So let me, if I like were to use like this color, let's say I wanted to use this color. No. Oh, I forgot that it'll pick up this white. So okay, so say I wanted to do that. Yeah, so it's like I could just change it and not have to worry about the shading. Technically I should change this too, because the only thing that should be white is his face here. Because that's the thing, because I keep getting told that it's like, oh, you should have your flatter do character accurate colors, so that it would save me a lot of time, with this. The problem is that that's a little bit more money because that requires me to send in character sheets, and then it's like they have to put in more detail. They have to be more careful in doing their pages, as opposed to just plopping in whatever colors, and getting it done. And it's like, for me, it's really not that big of a deal right now, to not have character accurate colors. So I'm okay with that, but I see their point though, because when I first when I first was getting my flatter, I had sent her character sheets because I thought that's what you did. And and then it's like, yeah, there really is a difference in, like, if the characters already have the proper colors already, it does save me a lot of time. It saves me even more time. Um, but it's, like I said, it's more money to do that, to guarantee that. And I'd rather just keep it moving than fuss with that right now. Like, I'm sure that, depending on if my campaigns can make like a little bit more money, in the future, that it's like maybe I can afford to get, to get that, to pay for the more of that detail. Um, but it's not really necessary right now. Um, oh. If I were re-inking this now, I probably would have left, like, because a panda has those black areas on their bodies, that they have the black arms and whatnot. I probably would have just left this as an outline and made it like a dark gray instead, like a really dark gray instead of having like these stark black areas. If I were inking this again, you know, which I'm not. So, but it's just really funny to see how much differently I ink now than when I did back then. Ever since I started doing publishing Ego Raven in color, like I just did like 3 issues, two issues. I inked for color when the ones before that were all inked for black and white, and I had to do the same thing on those pages when I was coloring them. I had to clean them up like this too. It's like, because the hatching wasn't necessary, or it got in the way. Um, and and it's just really funny to see the new pages now as to how like simple the inking is. It almost like a coloring book, which technically, but the thing is, though, I still want the inking to still be bold, so that it still works in black and white as well. But the thing is, though, it really is enhanced by the color. um Like I wouldn't have put like all these little, as Will Eisner used to say, all these little doohickey lines. Um, I wouldn't have. I'm not putting in all those. Um, oh, look at that! It's like there's this entire area I'm gonna have to clean up. Completely missed that. Okay, so it's like you kind of see how it's kind of coming together, in the shading. So, um, yeah, it's not until we start like really separating colors that that it's like let me try something here. So, what I like to do is let me see. Let's play around with the flats for a little bit. So, what I like to do is do like different layers of green, even though this is all the same, it's all grass. And, they gave me all the same color for that. I actually like dividing them out a little bit. So, kind of like fake depth with the color, with color. Um, so it's like, and then it's like, the funny thing is too is that I think I can see. Maybe I'll just. I think this is a little too blue though. I don't know if I'm feeling that. It's like that bluish green. Yeah, I like that better. It's like yeah. See that's looking much better already. Let's see. Let me see. Should I change this? Should lighten that. Maybe I should lighten that a bit. No, it's a little too light. Also, I kind of think color was that already? It was that color? A little too dark. Well, did I put the shading in there? No, I didn't, right? No, I did not. So let's do that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Maybe the green is not that bad. Although I don't know, I still think it could use to be a little lighter. Oh, there's the song that I used in the trailer. Oh. Let's see. Okay, you know what? I kind of like that here, but obviously this is too much up here. I want to use something a little darker here. Ah, much better, yeah. Oh, actually, let's see. Yeah, no, I like that better. Although what's funny though is that I really do think in here I should use a darker color. Where the hatching is. Let me see something. Huh, okay, like here. Let me see. What if we did that instead? Oh yeah, much better, much better. Yeah, much better. Let's see. Although this, let's see. Let's block this one out first. Oh, I still have to. Okay, still have to shade it. You see, which is why I prefer to use the mask because because there's some parts where because at least this way I can tell where I shaded and didn't shade. While if I see all the colors, I kind of like it's very easy for me to skip a lot of places. So let's see. Okay, so let me change this color. I want something dark, a little darker, but not. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm liking that. I like the way the background's coming out. Let me do something with those trees. The thing is, though, I know for a fact that he's going to be a lot more brown. So I don't want to use. I know that I have to use a different. I don't want to use brown for the tree, so I'm going to go more with like a warm. Let's see, like kind of like a warm grayish kind of. Let's see. Like right now, it'll look a little too much, but once I start really going into his costume, he'll start standing out more. And I want to make this tree a different shade. There we go. Okay, so right now for the background, I'm liking the background. So we're going to okay, so let me finish. Let me put my mask back on. And let me start shading where I forgot. Oh, hey, Jake. Yeah. Hey, Jake. Yeah, it's like it's just not a stream if either you or Joe. But I think I don't know if Joe is still around though. You know. But yeah, but the stream is the stream's not official until you're here. So there you go. So let me just okay. Oh, there you are. There you are. It just clocked in. Oh, well, it's like, look, it's like as per tradition.
I don't know who it is, but it probably is for Hogwarts guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for Hogwarts guys.
Now we're official. Now we're official. So now let me see. Where was I? Oh, okay. So I want to make sure I'm on my correct layer. Actually, let me check something because I want to make sure that I'm putting this all on the correct layer. Because sometimes if I'm not paying attention, but you know how it is. It's like all of a sudden you realize you're on a completely different layer than you mean to be. And there's only so many times you can undo without having to redo it over. So I want to make sure I'm actually on my shadows layer and not on my flats. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jake the bot slayer. I'm definitely gonna need a mod on Twitch though. I gotta figure out how to do that. I really got to get used to Twitch more. I definitely need right. I mean, it's like I've been seeing a lot. I don't know if they're bots or not. I don't think so. But I know that on a lot of the Facebook groups, it's been kind of, it's been annoyingly spammy on some of them. It's like where you kind of get the, I don't know. It's like, I guess it's like a lot of spammers from Africa or something. And they all, oh, my thing, hold on. I don't know why that happens. There we go. I don't know why that happens. That's just the music in the background. That's just epidemic sound. What came up on the screen? It's yeah. That there's like a lot of like I don't know. It's like oh, it's like have you and you know what it is? It's like what I hate about, well, it was annoying. They're annoying. It's like what I find really annoying is like I post a thing to the group, and it's like, oh, have you tried using a mailing list? And it's like, oh my god, it's like really like that. That's that's like a marketing 101, you know? It's like, you know, and the whole thing about using Fiverr, and it's like, come on, you know? What I really find annoying are the ones who go to campaigns that they spam, you know, like posts of campaigns that are up and live, and you know, and long since funded, and they go, oh, so have you funded yet? You know, maybe if you use a mailing list, and it's like, oh, for goodness sake. You know, um like they really don't pay attention to anything. Like you can tell that they're just posting, like either they're getting a bot to post to everything the same thing, or it's like they don't even pay attention to anything. There was this one spammer, I don't know if it was me or Nita who like ended up finally blocking him, them or whoever. Like there was this one guy who kept like who kept like he tried DMing me directly, which is a huge no-no if I don't know you, because I'll straight up ignore your shit. You know, you know, it's, you know, let me get to know you in posts first, and then maybe, you know, but to straight up, you know, like come into my DMs, it's like, no, 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 no. That's not how we work here. It's like, look, I barely look at, you know, the friend requests. I am definitely not going to pay attention to random DMs. And there was this one guy in particular who kept DMing, you know, and I think that this was on the Indie Comics Network DMs, because I'm also, you know, it's like I'm also an admin, so I get copies of those or DMs, and then it's like he kept DMing. It's like, and we were just ignoring him. And then it's like he sent a DM where you can kind of like see in the preview, you know, and he was like going, why the fuck are you not answering my DMs? And I'm like going, well, that earns a block, doesn't it? You know, it's like, you know, it's like you're sending unsolicited DMs, and then you have the nerve to get mad that we're ignoring the DMs, that you're going to come out like that. It's like, oh, honey, you can't earn a block faster, you know, because that certainly doesn't want to make me look at your DMs at all, you know, considering that he was just spamming anyway. But say, why aren't you fucking looking at my DMs? Oh, block. That's it. Block. You know? Um you know, it's like you know, Jake, he just said open door policy online was a mistake. Um I wish that Facebook could do a couple of things that you could do on Twitter that I like. And one of the main things is, well, one, I wish Facebook had like this thing for all accounts where I can mute certain words, you know, you mute or block words, so I don't see any posts mentioning those words at all. And another thing that I wish Facebook would do is that you cannot send me a DM unless we're friends already. You know, it's like you know, because it's like, yeah, even though, you know, it's like, okay, I have like if someone sends you a DM for the first time, they don't know it until you accept, I guess, like until you answer them, and that kind of unlocks the DM, and then it's like, you know, so it's like, but still though, I don't like that. You should not be sending me DMs anyway. You know, it's like I want to be able to just completely, like, if I didn't friend you on Facebook, you don't get to send me DMs. And it's like, and I wish that that's what they did, but they don't, you know. So but you know, yeah, definitely. I mean, the dude was like, and he was just a spammer. Because in the end, it's like I went looking at his page, and it's just nothing but, you know, stock art and the same post over and over and over again about, I don't know, using Fiverr for mailing lists or something. I don't know what the fuck. It's like, who cares, you know? You know, I mean, it was just, you know, Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. The messenger call. I mean, I hate that shit. I mean, it's like, look, if you don't have my phone number, we're not close like that. I mean, really, it's like, it's like to have people like just think that it's like, I don't know you. Why are you trying to call me? You know? On my phone, no less. It's like because of Facebook, and it's like, no, I don't know why they thought that was a good idea to put. Uh, you know, the what's funny is that the voice clips are weird too. Um, and but at the same, it's like, but the thing is though, like the people who usually send those, they're like the people where it's like, oh, it's too long to type. But at the same time, there are also people where it's like, I don't know you, so if you don't have my phone number, why are you sending me that anyway? It's like, you know, um, yeah, it's like, no, it's like, yeah, I really do think that Facebook is really intrusive in that sense. Like I don't understand why, um, like that's even like a default option, you know? It's like I have to sit there and block everything, It's like, no, you cannot message call me and shit. Oh, well, you see, the reason why I'm on Facebook is that that's where a majority of my audience is. You see, that's the funny thing with social media. It's like you kind of have to you use all the social medias until you find the one that has your audience on it. And in this case, it turned out to be Facebook. So I have Facebook because that's where everybody is. And I've done tests on Kickstarter to see whether that was true or not. And there was one campaign where I was giving away a pin set to only on people on Facebook. And it's like, and you had to send me a code that I posted only on Facebook. Um, to get this pin set, for you to put this pin set in your Kickstarter. And I was expecting maybe not even 10 people to do that, to actually, it's like you have to be following my feed, you have to be paying attention to get the code, and then you have to and then you have to put it in the survey. It's like, oh, do you know the Facebook code? And you would put it in the survey. And I was expecting nothing from it. And I had about 30 people actually send me the code from Facebook. And I was like going, oh, snap. I wasn't expecting even 10. And it ended up being like 30 something people. And it's like, oh, okay, this is where the audience is. This is where my audience is. And so far, it hasn't changed. No matter what I do on Twitter, I get no traction on it. Instagram especially is a big old goose egg for me as well. I mean, there just comes a point where it's like, there's so many platforms out there, and there comes a point where I have to narrow down quickly which are the ones that are worth spending time on. Because there's just, it's like, I'm not going to spend my time on a social media if I could see that no matter what I do, I'm not getting engagement, and especially Instagram seems really shit with this, because they did this whole thing where it's like, unless you're doing reels, they don't promote your account at all. So I saw what little engagement I was getting on Instagram go all the way to 0. And it's like, nah, then I'm not spending. I'm only, doing cursory posts on Instagram, but I'm not making an effort to spend time there. Because it's just not worth it. I'm not going to sit there, you know. And what's funny was that there was a video where someone was analyzing the whole reel algorithm, like the reels algorithm thing. And what they found is that they only saw traction when they were following the Instagram recommendations of posting reels 3 times a day and posting regular posts twice a day, and she was like going, it's a fucking job. It's like, you want me to treat Instagram like it's a job and you guys don't give me anything for that. It's like, no, that's ridiculous. So it's like, no, it's like the amount of time that Instagram wants you to spend creating content. It's like, no, that's not what's happening here. We're not doing that. And I'm certainly not doing that, especially for the rate of engagement that I get for what little that I do. And like I said, once they did that whole Reels thing, that they were going to prioritize Reels, I saw my engagement drop to nothing. And okay, it's like, okay, so I still have an Instagram account, but like I said, I just do like, okay, it's just like really superficial posts and move on. But Facebook is where I put in most of my effort. I mean, it's like, what's funny is that Facebook is how I wished my Patreon was. Because it's like I have a Patreon and that shit's dead in the water. I mean, it's like, I'm surprised at what few people are still there. I think what it is that, it's like, in the end, I'm just waiting for them to drop off, and then maybe, it's like, I do have this one guy who's there, who's just there to support me. He doesn't really care about the posts or anything, so I don't worry about him. But like everybody else that kind of like, because I just can't keep up. It's like, because again, it's like, I got barely any engagement on my Patreon, and and it's like, the whole requirement was to make all this exclusive content for Patreon, but it's like, I was kind of like not getting the rate of engagement. I mean, it's really not about the money, but it's like, because it's like, it's like what everyone's putting in, like $1 or $2 or $5, but it's like, it's like, it didn't like, I got like no engagement whatsoever. Like one person would like the posts, and that's it. It just wasn't worth the effort, especially when Patreon wants you to put up exclusive content. And I was like, no, it's like, so I my Patreon is essentially abandoned pretty much. That's why I don't advertise it, anymore. But Facebook is kind of like how I would have liked my Patreon to be if they had wanted, it's like, because Facebook does have exclusive content. That's the thing. It's like, so if you want to follow me and see stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else, like not even on my website, you go to Facebook. Like, the doodles don't even end up on my website because it's like, they're so out of context. They wouldn't make sense in a gallery, but they make sense on Facebook because everybody kind of like see the stories unfold already. So yeah, if you like exclusive content, go to my Facebook, not my Patreon. So that's why I'm on Facebook. But granted, Facebook, has its issues too that I don't like. I don't like that, they keep burying posts. That they're so all about, oh, if you pay for this and boost a post, maybe we'll let more of your followers see your shit. And it's like that, just because you follow me doesn't mean that you actually see my stuff on Facebook. Like, you actually have to engage it. Like, if you think you're not seeing enough, I post about every day on Facebook. if you're not seeing my stuff every day on Facebook, um, all I could recommend is that you actually like engage with the post somehow. Like you make sure that you like it, you put a little emoji. You don't have to comment if you don't want, just like a thumbs up or something. Just make sure that you keep doing that, and then the algorithm will say, okay, you want to see more of that. Because I'm doing that to people all the time. When I realize it's like, oh, I didn't remember I was friends with you. Why don't I see your stuff all the time? And it's because of that. So I have to engage more um, with, with the algorithm, I guess, just so it actually shows me the people that I'm following. It's obnoxious. And then it's like, even when on those rare occasions that I do pay for advertising, it's just awful. It never feels like if you ever wonder whether Facebook ads, if you're running a campaign and you ever wonder if Facebook ads are worth it, I really can't say that they are. On my last Ego Raven campaign, I think it was for volume 1. I because usually what I was doing up until then was paying like $5 a day for 2 weeks, and and kind of like getting the people on my mailing list who don't open up their emails, but they'll see the ad on Facebook if they're there. So someone had recommended that it's like, well, if you do $20 a day for 2 weeks, you'll really see traction. It's like the ads will really, you know, uh, you'll really see traction on it. And it's like, and the only thing that did for me was I spent, I had spent more money, and all I got was trolls. It's like nothing transferred over to the Kickstarter. You know, so it was like so I was like just really uptight about that. It's like all I got were people snarking on my ads and shit like that. And it's like, you know what? This is and I cut that short because I didn't want to spend more money on it. But yeah, it really wasn't worth it. In the end, it's like that's an expense that I am not incurring anymore. Because it's like what little I was getting, I don't think was really worth the amount of money that I was actually raising. I mean, yeah, so Facebook in itself was good. Like the people who follow me, they transfer over. But as something as generic as buying advertising, that wasn't worth it for me. You know? Color mode. I think it's color mode. That's the phrase I was trying to remember. Like, so when I set this thing to multiply, so these are color modes. I think that's the correct term for them. So yeah, so that's yeah. I think yeah, so I think that's what that is. let's see. Okay. I think, oh, okay, there we go. I forgot his belt. Okay, but at least I think the background is finished shading. So let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay, so let me play around with the flats a little bit more, but let me find the appropriate image for that. So let me go to my Tall Tales. Okay. So, all right, so this is my cover, which I know, this is the one that I want. Okay, so this is, let me see, is this this is the cover. Yeah, so this is another similar piece. This is a piece that I did for the campaign. I'm almost this I'm going to be offering up this piece as probably either probably a postcard, an art card, kind of like the way it came out. So so this is also going to be on the campaign as well. So what I was going to do was take some of the colors from here and start putting it here. So that the costume pretty much matches. So you see, so already it's like I'm changing the colors and I don't have to worry about the shading. So I was able to so the shading is kind of like a one and done for me. Let's see. So, which is very convenient because then it's like I could just, change the flats however I need to, and not have to worry about anything else. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. Oh, okay. So let me just, I know this gray. Let me do his eyebrows. Now, and okay. So let me do that here. Now, so you see how it's like it's beginning to come together. Like, it's like, oh, okay. It's like, now let me see. Oh, you see, the thing is though, here I used the pink color and I really like it. So probably, I don't know, maybe I'll just leave it. Maybe because like I was telling you how I wanted to change that to gray, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it because I know on one of my other covers, did I do the same thing? Right, because like on here, like you can see, I left it pink, and honestly, if I were to do that again, I would make it gray because I don't know. It just seems like too pink. But right now, like me looking at it right now, doesn't seem that bad. Although I do have to remember that that the Cintiq tends to mute down the colors a bit. Because I guess whether there's like an anti-glare on the screen or something. So I'm just gonna have to sit on this for a bit. Um okay, I like this color that they use, so I'm gonna put that. That's weird. Do I have something selected? Hold on. Ah, there we go. Okay. So I'm gonna make that the same color as this. There we go. So it's like, oh, so it's like you see how it's like it's all kind of coming together. I'm very it changes colors with this the motions. Well, I'm trying to match it with this with this piece right now. So um oh, okay. Yeah, because it's like because everything always looks darker on my Cintiq. Then when I move it to like my regular screen, that's when it's like I actually see it the way I'm supposed to. Actually, like now that I'm seeing it on the screen through Streamyard, and it's like I can see the slight colors. And I do have to admit the pink in the fur isn't too obnoxious. So like it was like oh, what am I doing here? Like I don't know. It's like I'm not. It's I guess I just kind of got used to it from from the beginning of the show to now. Because I'm not mad about it. It's like I just have to clean up more. Like I don't know. Like let's. You know what? Let's do a little experiment here. Um. Let's do a little experiment here. So, okay, so pink or gray? Oh no, the gray's. I don't know, man. Hold on. It's like so. Pink or gray? What do you think? I don't know. It's like now I'm not so sure anymore. Because it's like the gray. I don't know. Like something tells me the gray should be correct, but oh, what the? Oh, hold on. My camera just disappeared. Hold on. There we go. Okay. I was on the wrong screen. Okay, so let me do that again. Okay, so pink, gray. Yeah, you see, that's how I'm feeling too. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Like it feels like it should be gray, but I think I don't know. The pink just seems to add something. Hold on, maybe I have a lighter version. Oh, that's too pink. You see, that's too much. All I did was lighten it, and that's a little. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to. You know what? I'm going to. I'm going to have to think about it. Yeah, I am leaning a bit more towards gray though, because it just feels like. Oh, I'm glad I was able to help Levi. I'm glad. Um, yeah, because this is also the thing too that you have to consider when you're printing. that print, your colors are always going to probably be 10% darker. I mean, depending on the machine that they're using, it's always going to be darker printed than how it looks on the screen. I haven't like honestly, I think the reason why the pink looks a lot harsher on the cover here is because it printed darker. If I were to go in and do that and do that again, I would probably adjust it to gray. Probably if I do a reprint or something, I might do that. I don't know. It's like, you know what it is? It's like once kind of done, it's like, I print with PDFs, but they're made with both PSD, but they're made with PSD files. So, you know, yeah, it's really, it's like your mind, because, but also the thing is too, is that if you're doing print on demand, it could change depending from day to day, because digital printers, it's like there's no consistency to them the way that like if you're using an offset printer. That, you know, it's like, you know, toner is I guess a little bit more volatile in the color as opposed to offset printing, which uses actual inks. And I guess it's like that's why they use CMYK, because it's more accurate. It's like I'm really not that sure about it, but always consider that that when printing, I think either with offset or digital, that the color is going to be darker. Oh, and that's the thing too. It's like this file started off as a TIFF file. So this is the line art is a TIFF file. I always work with TIFF files with black and white, and then I you know, it's like, and then it's like it's the PSD file when I'm putting everything into like InDesign and Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so pretty much I think this is it. I think this might be it for this page. Yeah, it's like, you know what? I think I'm going to stick with that gray as opposed to pink in the fur. And because on this piece, it's not as bad. You know, even though you could still see, it's kind of, I mean, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't bother me. So you know what? I guess it's like, it's kind of like your mileage may vary. Yes, and definitely. Well, the thing is though, the CMYK and RGB, because digital printing is all RGB anyway. But if you're looking to have stuff professionally printed, i.e. offset, then you need to use CMYK, and you have to consider that there are certain colors that don't convert from RGB to CMYK. So you're just, you know, so it's like, so make sure, that's why they say, you know, color your stuff in CMYK and then work backwards to RGB. But I've never had an issue. It's never been that big of a deal for me. So I just work completely in RGB. I don't color. Like if I were to convert, okay, so say I wanted to print this offset, so I would have to convert it. Like the printer that I use to make like cardstock prints. I know we're at the top of the second hour, but I really want to say this. They work in CMYK. They require that all their files work in CMYK. So I have to convert all my files to CMYK. And honestly, I have yet to have any of my images convert in a way that made me go, I gotta fix that. Never had that happen. So it's, for me, it's not that big of a deal. So like if I were going to print this as an art print, right, I would have to convert it to CMYK. So let's see what happens. So if I go to mode and go to CMYK, right, it's giving me the warning. And then that's what happens. Did I see a slight color shift? Yeah, I did. It kind of muted the tones a little bit. But like I said, it's not I'm not one of these sticklers for it's like, oh my god, the colors have to be like 100% accurate, or it's like it's gonna bother me for the rest of my life. It's like, no, I'm not really like that. I mean, there's certain things like that cover. It's like, oh yeah, I should have done it gray, but it's not going to kill me leaving it like that. If I, like I said, if I do a reprint, then maybe if I feel like it, I might go back and change it. Because there was a cover I did do that too. Where is it? This one. So this is my second volume, and I ended up changing this character from the pink to the gray because it was just like way too much. I think I might have changed him too. It was, I don't know, it's like it looked really like too much pink in this area. So I changed it when I did the actual print. This is actually my proof copy. That's how you can tell that it's the pink. And I did that for this, but on the other one, yeah, it stands out because it's a little too pink, but it's not like a lot. You know, like I said, it depends on how I feel when I go reprint it. But as you can see on the screen, it really didn't change much converting it to CMYK. So that's why I don't bother with it. So, you know, so yeah, so we'll just, because this is completely done in RGB. And I still have to put in the highlights, but we're not going to. No problem, Levi. We are here to help. And yeah, and if it's not me answering it, my beautiful chat will answer it for you. Everyone is more than happy to help. You know, so what's missing? So right now what's missing from this page is the highlights. So, you know, so it's like, yeah, so I'm going to put highlights in the background. You know, it's funny. It's like I wish I had a little bit more time to show you, because that's a whole other thing with using color and how the color affects the under. You know what? It's like, you know what? Let me do that really quick. Let me do this really quick. So when I'm doing highlights, I'm actually using the same pink color. Okay, so if I were to do a highlight, let's do this really quick. If I were to do a highlight here, okay, so I'm on my highlight layer and I'm going to use that pink, right? It's the exact same pink that I used for the shading, but we're using a different color mode. I'm going here and I'm going to go down to luminosity, and that changes the tone to what I would want it to look like. Now, here's the thing though. If I were to use that same pink on, say, these leaves. Okay, so I'm gonna do these leaves right here really quick. So we're just gonna do something, you know, we're just gonna do that. You know, we're just gonna just put like a little highlights on stuff here. I'd say I want to do enough of these so that you can actually, you know, see it on, you know. So if I were to put the pink down, right, that's what it looks like, right? But let me just hide the little marching ants so that you can see it. But the thing is, though, it's like with green, if I'm using green tones, if there's a green tone underneath it, I actually prefer to use yellow. So I'm going to take this yellow here and I'm going to put it there. Now, it's slight, but I like it better than if I just used the pink tone. Now, granted, you know, are people going to notice a difference? No, they're not. It's one of those things where only I notice the difference. But that's what I just prefer. I just prefer the slight yellow tint that works with the green underneath it than with the pink. You know, although the pink is a lot more, the pink is a little bit more subtle, but like I said, doing the highlights is a completely different animal. So, well, it's not really. It's not a completely different animal. I usually tend to experiment more with color doing the highlights than I do with the shading. With the shading, I could pretty much use that pink color, aside from the gray here, and call it a day. But when I'm doing the highlights, I'd kind of rather tweak the colors a bit more, because sometimes it can be a little, the highlights can be a little harsh. Like if I put the pink highlight here, so let me show you. So there, so I'm going to be, so like for that, I'm going to keep it the pink, but for anything green, I use yellow instead, with the luminosity setting. But like I said, that's, I still have to let me just erase all that thing, because that's not exactly how I want to do it. But that's all I have to do left on this page. But yeah, but that's pretty much it. So let me just put my stuff away. Let's see. Let me just take, yeah. So it's like, yeah, so it actually feels good because it's a compression glove. My hand, kind of feels a little too good when I take the glove off, but but it's I like it. Okay, so let me just shut off this music right here and let me kind of adjust myself. Put the Cintiq back so I can put my keyboard back, and we can kind of like, but like I said before I put it away, this is the first page to a future Tall Tales book called Tall Tales, or So I Thought. It's going to be a full color one shot. It's going to be the first full color Tall Tales book. We've never done a color Tall Tales book before. This is going to be the first one. And this is scheduled to come out on Kickstarter later on in the year. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, all the links are in the show notes below. Make sure you go to my website and sign up for my mailing list. But I can kind of get more into that while we're closing up shop here. So let me just put this to the side. And okay, so let me switch over. And here we are. There we go. Okay, so there we have it. We're a little bit over the 2-hour mark, but there was some stuff that I really wanted to show. But I'm glad that it was helpful to a lot of people, especially, well, it was helpful to Levi. I'm sure it'll be helpful to everybody else as well, when you catch this on the replay. So there we are, so there's my page. Like I said, I still have to put the highlights in, but it's really not that much. I don't get as noodly with highlights as much as like I kind of like think a little bit too much about the shading. It's like, but once it's done, it's really it takes me a lot less time, that's for sure. You saw how long it took me to just color correct, and that's pretty much what it is. Once the flat, that's why it doesn't bother me that the flats are not character accurate, because it doesn't take me that long to just change the colors. And sometimes, depending on how they do the backgrounds, I don't have to change the colors at all. If I have like some kind of like a generic neutral background and they use like kind of like neutral coloring, I don't have to change a thing. So it kind of works out in my favor anyway. So I save time getting it outsourced, getting the flatting outsourced, and I'm able to do a lot more work than I would have. I mean, if I had to flat this myself, I would be just finishing flatting. it's I don't know, it just takes me too long, and it's just tedious. So here we are at past the top of the second hour. Oh, hold on. Where am I? And poof, and then poof. There we go. So let's officially, let's officially bring this to an end. I want to thank everybody in the chat who joined me in the chat and helped out helped out people in the chat. Thank you so much. Like I said, it's like if I'm not telling you something, if I'm not giving you information, always make sure to check the chat, especially if you're watching this on a replay. Because there's a lot of gold in there. It's like, like I said, my chat is sexy for a reason, so it's like there's a lot of gold in there. And yeah, it's like, you'll learn just as much in the chat as you'll learn from me talking about it. And I want to thank the 12 people who actually spent the entire 2 hours with me. Thank you so much. I hope you got as much work done as I did, because usually I don't get this close to finishing a piece on a stream. But we got really close. We got really close. So thank you for joining me as well. And yes, and so don't forget that we have to join me and Nita again on Friday at 11 a.m. where we are going to launch Tall Tales to Peacekeepers on the Rage Into the Vlogs show. You can catch it here on my channel or through the through the Indie Comics Network, which we simulcast. I simulcast through. And also join us again on Saturday where we will be hosting House of Bob, the once a month adults only live stream. We will be joined with Max DeVille, and the topic is Bad Girl comics and why people love them so much. So we're gonna have a good time there as well. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and all the bits I post and whatnot and everything that I'm talking about, you're going to head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. You are always welcome on House of Bob. It's like, yes, we will have an episode with Jake. It's like most definitely. Yes, so you remember to check out my portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. You can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. And like I said before, I mostly post to Facebook. If you are interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress and any like real-time updates that I may have. And also, again, you can catch me on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network for all my videos on how I make my artwork. And if you want to catch any previous live streams, either from the sketching, the Wednesday live streams or any of our previous shows as well. And also remember that you can read my comics online at egoworks.com. You can read Ego Raven, Air the First Unicorn, in its new full color final Kickstarter format. It's updating every day on the website if you want to read the book for free. If you're just finding out what Ego Raven is and you want to kind of like get a sense of what the book is about before the next campaign in spring. Or you can download the first 16 pages of the first issue if you're a little impatient. You can do that also on the website as well. You don't have to sign up for anything. You could just download the sampler for free and call it a day. But it would be nice if you signed up on my website for my semi-monthly newsletter, where you can get not only more free comic PDFs, but you get regular updates about all these campaigns that we're having for the year, for Ego Raven, for the Oswald Chronicles, for Tall Tales, and you don't miss anything. But if you want to read more of Tall Tales, you could do that too. Just follow the link to Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and you can read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free online. So there you have it. It's like I'm giving you every every opportunity to learn about our comics. It's like and just to so that when the campaigns come, it's like, oh yeah, it's like I really want this or whatnot. So hopefully. So again, thank you so much for joining me. And so on that note, I will, like I said, I'll see you on Friday. I'll see you on Saturday. And that's it for me. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
You really want to know my process?
Absolutely.
Usually starts with a holla and ends with a creamsicle.
And then if there's time in between, Thundercat.